Hey, happy Thursday. It's me, Queen B. I am here again. We are continuing our topic on faith. And you may ask, how does faith come? How do I walk by faith? It's very essential because according to the Word of God, it says anything done not in faith is sin. And so, how do I live my life by faith? And faith is such elementary, according to Hebrews, that is one of those foundational elementary teachers. And so we have to know how to do this and do it all the time. And we build on that. We build on faith. We go from faith to faith and glory to glory. So I want to look at Romans chapter 10, because in verse 17 it says, so then faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And then if you go back up in verse 13, well, let's start at verse 12. It says, for there is no difference between Jew and Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich to all that call upon him. Okay? For whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. And then verse 14 says, how then shall they call on him in whom they never believed? So, how are you going to call on somebody you don't believe in? If you don't believe in Jesus, you're not going to call on him. And then it says, and how shall they believe in him whom they never heard? You got to hear about it. There's still some people that haven't heard about Jesus. They haven't heard the gospel of the kingdom. They haven't heard the truth. They got to hear it. Okay? So how shall they believe in him whom they never heard, and how shall they hear without a preacher? And how can a preacher preach except he be sent? And then it says, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. Wait a minute. I just realized something. Okay. It says, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel of peace. And you know what peace is? It's wholeness in all areas. Not only do they preach the gospel of peace, but they bring glad tidings of good things. And now some people think that the gospel is you better give your life to Jesus or you're going to hell. But this says the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. How beautiful are the feet of those that do that. And so, what have you been hearing? Faith comes by hearing. And you know that faith is the opposite or reciprocal of fear. Because in Revelation it said that fearful and unbelieving are going to have their part in the lake of fire. And that's true. But don't you know that if faith comes by hearing, fear comes by hearing too? If you hear enough negative, then that fear is going to be in you. So, what do you choose to have? Do you choose to have faith, or do you choose to have fear? Now, without faith, it's impossible to please God. We already discussed that. And then it says anything that you do, if it's not done in faith, is sin. Don't let your heart condemn you. Don't let other people condemn you. Because you can believe, you can say you start out doing something, and then you have so much faith in it. And then somebody else comes in and they say, I don't think you should do that, blah, blah, blah. This gonna happen, that gonna happen. And then you start having doubt about what you're going to do. And then you do it anyway, but it's like your faith level is not where it was before somebody sowed that negative seed into your spirit. So the word says anything done not in faith is sin. So if you're going to drink wine, and we're not going to get into that, if you think it's okay to have a glass of wine every now and then, do it in faith and believe that you're still righteous. Okay? Don't let nobody come to you and say, we don't drink wine, it's a sin for you to drink wine, and you're going to hell for doing that. I mean, if you're going to do it, if you're going to drink the wine every 3 months or whatever, do it, and do it with a free, open heart. Don't do it feeling guilty. Okay? Because when that way, if you do it like that, if you drink it like that, then you're not even doing that in faith. I don't know why that came out, but I don't know, that may not even be a good example. But we got to walk by faith, and faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word. So if you're dealing with a situation, you should immerse yourself in the word. Just soak yourself in the word concerning that situation. Start listening to CDs on it. Start listening to teachings on it. Start looking for scriptures on it. Start saying those scriptures. That's how faith comes. And you keep standing and reading and listening until you see the results that you desire. And then you can say, hey, I got that by faith. I did that by faith. And you know that, it was God that helped you. Okay? But that's all I have for this weekend. And you have a good rest of your week. Remember to like, subscribe, share. And God bless.